You're watching the Flight Channel, brought to you by Launch Box. Stay tuned. Coming up, we have the Kitty Hawk Chronicles and Dumb Luck or Dumb. But first, a special episode of the Flight Channel's very own Candy's Corner.
Hi, I'm Candy, and welcome to my corner. What I've got coming up next you will not believe. Here at the Flight Channel, we've been trying to bring you this next item for months. And now, finally, for Flight Channel viewers only, the first edition of an exciting new book, I Can Fly. One man's incredible odyssey to personally conquer the forces of flight. And as a special promotion, if you order today, you will get a free video, which shows the daring attempts of students to build the world's largest paper airplane. Woo!
For the past year, students from 4 high schools in Hampton, Virginia have spent much of their free time working towards a common goal, setting the Guinness record for the world's largest paper airplane. Dr. Ferdinand Grossfeld, a Lockheed supervisor working at NASA's Langley Research Center, came up with the idea as a way to get students excited about engineering and science. As chairman of the local chapter of the American Institute for Aeronautics and Astronautics, Dr. Grossfeld approached 4 accomplished engineers retired from NASA to serve as advisors in the project. One was Collier Trophy winner Dick Whitcomb. They taught the students aeronautical concepts like lift and drag, then let them come up with their own original designs. The record they were trying to break was a 16-foot wingspan flying a minimum of 50 feet. Paper and adhesives were the only materials allowed in construction. The greatest challenge was keeping the planes from collapsing under their own weight, an obstacle overcome with an innovative tube rolling technique devised with the help of Hewitt Phillips. Fly-offs in the Hampton City Schools gym were used to evaluate student concepts. Although this 18-foot version seemed capable of breaking the record, the students decided to work towards an even larger model in case someone established a new mark before their attempt. Finally, the day the students had been gearing up for came. In a hangar at NASA Langley, they hoisted their 24-foot model onto a platform as specified in contest regulations. With record officials and numerous supporters on hand, Senior Kevin Kelly let the plane fly. It had to go 50 feet to break the record. It traveled over twice that far. And the students weren't done yet. With Will Perry doing the honors, they broke their own record using this 28-foot version. Then, as a grand finale, they launched a 30-foot craft, achieving yet another new milestone, 114 feet 9 inches. The record-setting craft will now be displayed in Virginia's new Air and Space Center alongside other historic planes, signifying the dedicated teamwork and learning experience of all who participated.
Wow! Now, how much would you normally expect to pay for a package like this? $199.95? $99.95? How about $19.95? That's right. Our Flight Channel price for this offer is only $19.95. And right now, we also have a special treat for all our viewers. Here to tell you in his own words about his incredible discoveries, the author of I Can Fly, Ron Kitty Hawk.
Hey, thanks for having me, man. Sorry I was late. I just flew in from Swindler City, and boy, is my hair tired.
Oh, Ron, I'm so excited. I just bought a copy of your book, and I can't wait to read it. Why don't you tell us right now some of your secrets? Oh, come on. Come on.
Please. Okay, you twisted my beads.
Oh, good.
This flying thing, man, it's all a mind game. See, say I was in Pittsburgh. At first, I get real comfortable on a beanbag chair, and then I concentrate real hard on where I want to go, like Oahu. And I just keep saying it over and over again. Oahu, Oahu, Oahu. And then I move my arms up and down as fast as I can. And before you know it, I'm halfway to Hawaii. Whoa! Oh. I almost just took off there. Now, most people don't believe me, man. They say I'm too heavy to fly. But look at airplanes. I mean, they fly all day, every day, and weigh tons more than I do. Right?
Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
That's incredible. That means buying this book might save someone a fortune in airfares.
Yeah.
Oh, I think we have our first caller. Hi, who's this?
Hi, this is Rosie, and I called to ask, what planet are you all from? I mean, get a grip. People can't fly, and I can prove it.
Well, Rosie, thanks for calling.
No way. Don't hang up on me.
Well, what would you say to someone like Rosie?
No, sleep it off.
Well, see, whoa. Excuse me.
Oh, cool. I'm on TV. Okay, there's something I totally have to get off my chest. Now, I don't care how much you weigh or concentrate. You can't fly. I mean, Candy, get with it. I mean, if you knew, the first thing about flight, you wouldn't have this lame-o on TV trying to hose the public.
Oh, that hurt my aura, man.
Candy, with the 4 basic forces of flight, lift, gravity, thrust, and drag, I can prove he is totally lying. Okay, check out this chart I made.
Oh, I love charts. Go on.
Cool. Okay, say an aircraft wants to move through the air. Well, what's the air made up of?
Light stuff.
Yeah.
Duh. The air is made up of molecules, and all the molecules moving around together create air pressure. Just like a lot of people shopping at the mall create people pressure.
Oh, I see.
Okay, so if the air molecules move around real fast and spread out, like if you're in the music section and they announce a special sale in the junior department and everybody totally stampedes over there, well then there's less people or less air in the music section.
That's in my book, but I used a lava lamp store.
Shut up, Ron.
Anyway, the wing of the plane is curved on the top but flat on the bottom, so that the air moving across the top has to travel further and faster to get behind the wing than the air moving underneath. And just like the people at the mall, the faster-moving air molecules make less pressure above the wing than below it. Now, the higher air pressure air, totally always tries to move to a lower air pressure area, and this pressure, pushes the plane up into the air. This is called lift.
Oh, brain ache, man. This technical stuff is really a downer.
No, Ron. The real downer is gravity trying to pull the plane back down to Earth.
Join us, won't you?
To combat gravity, the planes use engines and propellers to create thrust, the third force of flight. Thrust is what's pushing the plane forward through the air, and the more thrust from the plane's engines or propellers, the faster the air moves over the wing, and the more lift you get. Get it? There is just no way a guy with these skinny little arms, or any human being for that matter, could create enough lift to get himself off the ground under his own power.
Ron?
You left out the importance of a proper diet, man. Never underestimate the power of granola.
Okay, Mr. Granola. Suppose you do get airborne. What do you do about drag?
Drag? I think this gig is a drag.
See? I knew it. He doesn't even know what drag is. Drag is the force created by the air as it resists the forward motion of the plane. Now, thrust has to be greater than drag, and lift has to be greater than gravity, or else there is no flight. Now, Ron has no curved wings for lift or propellers for thrust. All he has is a bad haircut and a lot of hot air.
This is getting way too heavy, man. I think we should all just gather round and meditate.
Oh, I'd meditate too if I were you, about how it's going to personally pay everyone their money back. You're a fake. I want you and your aura out of here.
Whoa.
Security.
Well, wait, okay, so I didn't fly, but once I fell out of a tree, and it took me a while to get to the ground.
Please stand by. We are experiencing technical difficulties. Coming up next, Dumb Luck or Dumb, sponsored by Launch Box.
Good afternoon and welcome to Dumb Luck or Dumb, the show that looks at successful people and the reasons why they're there. I'm your host, Errol Safe Skies. Now, this week we've been talking about flight, and we have as our guest today an amazing survivor and success story in the world of flight and the world of movies. He's self-taught stunt pilot William Ivan Crash, and we welcome him to the show. Well, I've got to tell you, this is a fascinating topic for me. I've done a lot of research on flying, and well, I just can't wait to hear about some of those techniques you use to perform some of those amazing stunts you're credited with.
Well, basically, it's pretty easy. You put me in a cockpit, get me down a runway, and my incredible luck and instincts just take over. Now, I don't know why I'm so good, but if you throw in a little nasty weather like severe lightning, wind shear, or a little snowfall, and faster than you can call action, you've got the makings of one blockbuster stunt.
Yeah, but lightning, what's the big deal about that? Thousands of pilots fly through lightning storms every year.
The difference is when I do it, I get hit by a lightning bolt. That's why I make the big bucks. In fact, that particular stunt made my last film, Lightman, the talk of Hollywood.
Yeah, I think we've got a clip of that. Beck, can you roll that for us, please? Hey, maybe you can narrate for us, Will.
Sure. Well, all I did was take off from the space coast of Florida, and bango! There's the lightning strike, and here I am going down. Beautiful.
Will, you mean you didn't do any special preparation for this stunt? I mean, didn't you know that the Space Coast is led only by Tampa Bay and lightning strike frequency?
Well, you know,
aren't you aware of the East Coast Lightning Detection Network, the one funded in part by the National Aeronautics and Space Administration? You know, NASA? You see, it covers virtually the whole East Coast and includes 30 lightning monitoring stations that detect lightning strikes.
Nope, never heard of it.
And wasn't that a fiberglass plane? I mean, wasn't that thing built with any sort of a pathway for lightning strike to follow? Well, didn't you know that metal planes like the ones used for commercial flight provide a path for a lightning strike to follow because metal conducts electricity? You see, this gives the lightning somewhere to go instead of harming the passengers or the plane. You know, in the dumb luck or dumb category, I'd say you're off to a pretty bad start. Now, earlier you had said something about wind shear. Are you trying to tell me that you survived a microburst?
A micro what?
A microburst. It's a sudden downshift of air that radiates outward as it rushes to the ground. You see, wind shear is really just a generic term for any rapidly changing wind current. Beck, can we see the graphic that the guys put together? Yep. You see, a microburst is when the air flows down and out in the shape of an upside-down mushroom. Now, what happens is, during a landing or a takeoff, a plane entering a microburst encounters wind coming straight at it. You know, headwind. Well, this headwind causes the plane to lift. Now, pilots typically reduce engine power to reduce lift so they can land. However, as the plane passes through the headwind, the wind quickly becomes a downdraft and then a tailwind. That is, a wind traveling in the same direction as the plane. Well, because of the extra lift that was due to the headwind is now lost, and because the plane is now flying on reduced power close to the ground, the plane becomes vulnerable to crash.
Certainly worked like a charm for me.
Yeah, well, NASA is testing 3 different systems to give other pilots advance warning of wind shear. And shortly, all commercial airlines should have one of these systems on every plane.
Then everybody will be able to do it. But what about snowstorms? Don't you want to hear about the new stunt I'm planning for my new movie, Antarctic Park?
Yeah, sure. Why not? I believe you brought along some kind of graphic to illustrate. Beck, can we take a look at it?
In Hollywood, we call this a storyboard. See, my plan is to go up in a severe snowstorm. It's just a gut feeling, but if things go for me as they usually do, somewhere in the middle of the flight, zowie, down I go.
You've got a pretty smart gut, Will. I mean, you're not going to last long at all in weather like that without de-icing your wing.
De-ice? I thought the engine heat would de-ice the wings.
Well, to an extent, yes. But see, icing occurs in clouds where the water remains liquid, even though the temperature is as low as -34°C. Now, as the plane flies through these super cool clouds, the water hits the wings and turns to ice. Well, thanks to NASA's icing tunnel research. Beck, yeah, you see, a ground de-icing fluid, it was tested and found to keep plane wings de-iced longer while not negatively affecting takeoff. In fact, that particular fluid was put into service in late 1990, making commercial flight and snow and ice conditions safer than ever.
Yeah, you folks out there, you leave the dangerous stuff to experts like me.
Will I crash? Hey, he's a self-taught stunt pilot to the stars. Dumb luck or dumb? My opinion, he's just dumb. Today, with all the new and improved technology being developed by NASA and others in the field of aeronautics, flying is one of the safest ways to travel. Even for you, Will. And by the way, what is this, wounds from your latest stunt?
No, I slipped in the bathtub.
You're hopeless. Oh, well, I'm your host, Errol Safe Skies, and thanks for joining us.
Coming up, how to conquer your fear of flight. But first, we return you to the Flight Channel's weekly sweepstakes, Flight Time, with Sebastian Soaring.
Welcome back. And now for the final bonus question. Keep in mind, whoever answers this question correctly goes home with the grand prize. Ready? Here it is. These flying things have the world's most sophisticated wings. Time's up. Let's start with Tim. Tim, what'd you put down? Oh no, sorry Tim. NASA's National Aerospace Plane, also known as the X-30, will be an amazing plane with sophisticated wings when it starts to fly. That's not the correct answer. Interestingly enough, because the X-30 will take off horizontally and fly into orbit at a mind-boggling 17,500 miles per hour, it will actually demonstrate the technology for flexible, routine, and efficient access to space and make distances almost obsolete. In fact, at that speed, which is about 25 times the speed of sound, it could go from New York to Los Angeles in under 11 minutes. Good try, though, Tim. Mandy, what'd you put down? Oh, no. Sorry, Mandy. Actually, NASA and others are working to make high-speed civil transport a reality because studies show that worldwide air travel will double by the year 2005. Therefore, supersonic jets are currently being developed to travel twice the speed of sound, cutting down a 10-hour flight from Los Angeles to Tokyo in a little over 4 hours. A high-speed civil transport could be in place shortly after the turn of the century. But again, it doesn't have the most sophisticated wings. Nice guess, though, Mandy. That means if Sam has the correct answer, he takes home everything. Sam? As you know, an aircraft's wings provide lift only, and they must rely on engines for thrust. A bird's wings, however, provide lift and thrust, making birds the flying things with the most sophisticated wings and making Sam our grand prize winner. Mike, tell him what he's won.
Thanks, Sebastian. Sam, you've won a huge, beautiful, remarkable, wondrous bucket of slime to dump on the person of your choice. Congratulations, Sam. Thank you for joining us at the Flight Channel, brought to you by Launch Box.
Hi, I'm Barbara Walters. Seriously. Today, on the teacher's portion of Launch Box, we're going to talk about flight and what makes airplanes fly. As a teacher who specializes in aviation, I've been using these teaching techniques for almost 10 years, and believe me, students love it. Let's start with the 4 forces of flight: lift, gravity, thrust, and drag. Lift is the amount of aerodynamic force pulling the plane upward and away from the pull of gravity, the force that pulls the airplane downward and back to Earth. Next comes thrust, the force provided by the airplane's engine, which moves the airplane forward through the air. And finally, we have drag. This is the force that opposes the forward motion of the airplane. When a plane moves through the air resists that forward motion of the plane, much like putting your arm out of a car window when you're driving. Now, for a plane to take off or climb, lift must be greater than gravity, and thrust must be greater than drag. Lift is achieved through air pressure. The air flowing over the wing is actually greater than that going under the wing, and it lifts the airplane into the air. Once we achieve straight and level flight, we'll find that lift and gravity are equal, and thrust and drag are also equal. Now, do you realize that you can teach the 4 forces of flight and basic parts of a plane using paper airplanes? All you need is paper, imagination, and some creativity. With techniques like the ones I'm about to show you, it's possible to make airplanes for a number of different purposes. You can design a plane that will fly the greatest distance, one for longest time aloft, or one for accuracy. And students can do this individually or in small groups that I call squadrons. For a basic airplane, start with an 8.5 by 11-inch sheet of paper. Crease it in half, lengthwise, and open it. Fold the corners down. Then fold down the top section and the top corners to the center line. Take each top corner, make sure they're even. Now fold this tab to lock it in place. Fold the plane in half away from you. Then, at a slight angle, fold the wings out. This angle gives the plane its stability. If more lift is needed, bend the wing tips up slightly. There, this one's ready to go. Let's try another design. Take an 8.5 by 11-inch sheet of paper and fold it in half lengthwise and open it. Bring the top edges to the center line. Keeping it folded in, fold the edges to the center. Fold the plane in half towards you and fold the wings along the line. If done correctly, this plane should fly longer, farther, more accurately than the first one. If you'll notice the wings and the body of the plane. This one is narrow and sleek and will fly very easily through the air. This one has wider wings and a wider nose and will stay aloft and act as a glider. Now that the planes are numbered and ready, ask the students to predict which ones will fly the farthest, which one will stay aloft the longest, and which will fly most accurately. Record the predictions. Your students are ready to fly. Graphs like this can be made to record the results of each contest. As you can see, in this example, there are 5 planes in each category. In the world of flight, the sky's the limit.
This show was produced in Nickelodeon Studios at Universal Studios in Orlando, Florida.
The following program is part of Cable in the Classroom, a service of the cable television industry and your local cable company.